Journal entry, 26th of the month of December, in the year of our Lord, 1079. O Zuhal, so trusting, the reclusive prince of the Seljuks, who had engaged us in retrieving his banner, which of course was rightfully his, clearly had neglected his wife for too long. Alas, his spymaster had not been blinded thus, and his keen eye spotted the glances I exchanged with the Duchess. Soon, guards would move, in what would seem random ways to the untrained eye, yet whose clear intent I could spot every time I was attending the prince's halls. Guillemette and her men had been, despite the odds and suspicions against our group at the time, able to retrieve the coveted banner, and thus, with the Sultan's wrath behind us, we made haste to depart once more. It was Morteza, the only one among us knowing the local tongue, who suggested passing a message to Zuhal of our impending move, thus pushing her to take the chance or forgo it evermore. I was more than pleased when I heard her softly calling out to me from outside my tent the night before we would break camp, and Morteza had a knowing smile on his lips as he left us, while she melted into my arms. With the prospect of the Sultan's men giving chase, we have crossed the border into the Ghaznavid lands. We were told of a fertile river to the east, with great wonders to behold, and I cannot wait to leave this rocky dry land behind. We are indeed making our way across the mountains towards the somewhat more fertile lands in the east, and towards yet another culture that we can explore, and riches to be pillaged and women to be led astray. Bernardo is certainly, or Bernardos right now, certainly not tired of it. As we trudge along the road, a building hovers into view. The battered sign outside reads the Happy Duck Inn, in whatever language is the local language. Like you tonight, we've barely got room for our current lodgers, let anyone new. Inside, the innkeeper shakes her head dismissively. And especially not you ragtag types. Excuse me, I am very well dressed. So, she looks somewhat robust, but we could take the chance and threaten her, or we could attempt a more diplomatic solution. So I think we're going to go with the diplomacy, because I am trying to lose the banditry reputation that we have. So surely, dear lady, we can come to an arrangement. And she won't budge. Oh dear. It's not a good start in these new lands, and obviously the language barrier is playing a part in that as well. The journey has been long and tiresome, and my feet ache so much that my ancestors must feel it. As I feel I'm about to collapse from exhaustion, I feel something heavy weigh on my neck. Before long, I am adorned from head to toe in traditional Punjabi garbs, the streets alive with jubilation. Every househead beckons me to come. I think that's meant to be beckons. Beckons me to come inside and rest my weary laurels. It would only take a moment to regain my stamina, and I would be welcomed as the guest of honor. Punjabi hospitality is legendary. Can I really afford not to see it for myself? Absolutely, we shall have a good rest, and we will gain some improved stress mechanics for 5 years. So this is a better welcome than what we had in the mountains, and I'm already enjoying the lands quite a lot more. And thus we have finally found some rest in the Punjabi castle of Beira, which is held directly by the local ruler, one Amiran Zahir al-Din Ibrahim Ghaznavid of the Ghaznavid Grand Emirate. That is certainly an interesting culture. So far, we have a few leads. We might be able to steal some gold from one of the more northern keeps, but other than that, we haven't heard an awful lot. So we'll go into the castle, explore a bit, and see what these lands have to offer us. In the absence of anything better to do, we have traveled to Kashmira, and we have been robbing the local lord. But to be fair, there isn't all that much to get. He's got 106 worth of coin in his treasury, and what else can we take from him? It's only 75, so yeah, we're... I think we'll take everything and then we will move back for now. Like the shadows in the night, once again we are away. And we'll be making our way back to our base. That said, there isn't all that much else that we so far have been able to determine. So we may have to travel a bit further. One thing that Bernardos has noticed, and he's going to have to change his outfit again and to try to blend in a bit better, is that the women in these lands are of exceptional beauty. So he is somewhat interested to linger for a while. But first of all, we have another available perk on the intrigue, and we are going to remove the rank difference penalty. And then I think we have most of the penalties with the seduction schemes removed, which means we can be a little bit more successful with these things. Other than that, yeah, basic contracts available here, not an awful lot. We will see if something more interesting comes up. Eberhard, our camp priest, has been afflicted with the Great Pox. He has picked that up somewhere along the road, and unfortunately, despite Elchanan's best efforts, not much is to be done. That said, upon our return to Bera, we have heard of a contract in the north, more closer. Where is the capital of these lands? Let's see. Can we? This seems to have changed hands very rapidly. Okay, so the Ghaznavid and the Ghaznavid kingdom, empire, whatever it is, has lost apparently a fair few places. While we weren't looking, the Punjabis themselves have made themselves independent after Mahmud Ibramizad, a bandit and a man of my tastes. So if there is a call out in his country, he can hardly blame us if we're taking it. As we enjoy the incredible hospitality of the people and admire the local plains, I have made the acquaintance of the wife of a neighboring ruler, who she appears to have been, arranged to marry him because he is of very advanced age, and as such she has certain, needs that haven't been taken care of and may be susceptible to certain influences of my kind. Unfortunately, she is rather shy and generally a somewhat good woman, but who better than a good woman to bring off the righteous path? So I shall try once again my charms, but of course the language barrier, as usual, is giving a little bit of trouble. Yumet, making some contacts with the assistance of a local interpreter, has found an item of news that the Mahasamata Mapal of the Gakha Raj in the north apparently has an exceptional wealth in livestock. Now we have just kind of gotten out of the idea that we would be seen as common banditry and poachers, but the value of these animals is certainly considered very high, and given that the country we're currently in is where are we here? Is led by a bandit. He certainly has a lot of contacts going on relatively openly that would take them off our hands quickly, and we could get away with that pretty fast. So I think that is a worthy investment to travel there, while I have changed my clothes to match the local customs, and I have let my hair grow out as well. So once again, going by the name of Bernard from faraway European lands, but I'm blending in a little better, although my white skin and the rest of us obviously do stand out. And despite the best attempts of Mahasamata Mahpal's many lackeys, the Lion de Beauvais has reclaimed a veritable horde of beasts from his ignominious clutches. Okay, so let us dispatch of that very quickly, but of course this has given us a bit of a bad reputation now as a poacher once more, so something that we will need to work on if we are to not be chased out of these lands again. As it turns out, we have the wipe slate capability again. However, I am actually having a slot now in the baggage train where we can build the expert negotiators, which is going to increase the effectiveness of Wipe Slate, which means we can buy ourselves out of bad reputation a little bit easier. That said, I think what do we got? We got a little bit on poacher only, whereas the Wipe Slate decision would take 35 off, and we only actually have what are we at? 15. Yeah, so we'll hold that in the back pocket in case we find another opportunity in these lands before we move on. As we are exploring the countryside outside town, we have run into bandits. The brigands launched their attack while we're still moving, our defenders and vulnerable members alike spread out in a long snaking line. They coordinate well, sounding a long blast from a horn before streaming from their hiding spots, hitting several points along our convoy at once with a terrible fury. Even so, it's immediately obvious what their goal is, as their leader, a fearsome Punjabi man, takes his gang straight for the wagons laden heaviest with provisions. Yeah, prepare to taste steel, brigand, my friend. You are going to duel me to the death, and that big club of yours is not going to do you any good. So he opens up with a low medium. I think we could stress him out, but I think we're just going to aggressively go for it. I am more of a nimble fighter with a dagger, and his stance is passable, however. So he's gone very high. Okay, we have not many options. I think medium-low with a confident attack is probably the best I can do. And his stance is beginning to fail, so his aggression is getting the better of him. And I'm starting to find openings and leaving little scratches in him. So I will use a legendary technique because I am somewhat of a blade master at this point, and put my training to good use. This will work like just in the legends. I will my body to match the vivid mental picture of legend, shifting into an awkward stance while flailing my dagger. With more hope than belief, I charge him and dagger out in perfect imitation of the story's eyes screwed shut by reflex. There's a sudden stone-hard force to my dagger, the sound of wet flesh sheared in half, and a spasm passes up my arm. I open my eyes, almost certain I'll see my own doom, only to be met with the annihilated neck stump of Simadeva, fountaining blood into the air with reckless abandon. By the time I've located his head, the light has long since gone from the man's eyes. With that, we have very brutally beheaded this bandit, and I think we will have driven off the bandits. Their leader's death sparks of frenzied panic in the bandits. Scream and cries turn from terrified non-combatants in the baggage train to ruthless killers seeing a plan unravel in the worst ways before their eyes. The most cowardly break and flee, the more ruthless wound comrades to cover their escape. Either way, the attack is over within a minute. Nobody steals from me. Have I gained some in the Blade Master trait? We're at 84, so we're reasonably close to the legendary. I think it's legendary Blade Master. When we're in aspiring, but I think we'll get there. So we're making our way a little south towards the coastline, and because either it's the language barrier or just the political upheaval, but the contracts have completely dried up in the north. Before we are making our way further south towards the coast, because rumors of a spreading plague in the lands of the west of here have been increasing, I will once more meet up with the lovely but very honorable woman and the Countess of Duchess of Kafirkot, and see if I can find ways to make her do something dishonorable. She is, however, rather faithful to her husband, despite the fact that he is 4 times her age. But I will give it a good try regardless, because we are about to leave these lands anyway. So whatever is the outcome, it is what it is. And unfortunately, she is rather angry. And, She has been repulsed by my attempts, and as such, good riddance. She wasn't worth it anyway. The plague is spreading in the west, and we're making our way towards the port city of Debul, and from there we will probably... I am starting to get a little bit homesick. I've been spending lots of time in lands that I don't understand an awful lot of the local language. I have seen fascinating cultures, but overall I feel I am just simply far from home at this point. So maybe we shall make our way back maybe towards the Egyptian lands, and from there back towards Byzantium and the more familiar areas in Western Europe. As we arrive in Debul and the harbor city surrounding Debul Castle, I have unlocked a diplomacy perk from learning from the locals as much as I can. And with that, what can we get? I could ask to have a feast in my honor. That might be interesting. I could get prestige rewards from contracts, but usually the things we do not give us much prestige to begin with. I could just use the befriend scheme, and I could play friendly board games. Well, why not? That might actually be an interesting one to do. So we'll look into that. But for now, there are now a few contracts available, but mostly given that the plague is already making its way across the borders, we'll have one last look at the castle and see if there's anything interesting. 120 for 6 experience. No, that's not worth it. Let's check the tavern and see if there's an interesting story to be heard for a bit of diplomacy lifestyle, and then I think we'll make our way out of here. Before we can leave, Rimbaud has apparently picked up a local woman who he doesn't speak the language of, but he apparently fell for her head over heels, and through some interpretation, she appears to have agreed to come with us. I'm not entirely certain she fully understood what she said, getting herself into, but we are leaving because the plague is spreading along the coastline. So we will make our way back towards, maybe towards the Egyptian lands, and then from there we'll travel north back towards Byzantium. That should going across the sea should not be too much of a trouble. We have hired Pesheng as our captain, and with that we are off and making our way out of these plagued lands towards more friendly shores, hopefully. After a few weeks at sea, we are passing by the desert dry lands across the central desert, and expert negotiators has been completed. That's good to know. I don't think we need any more upgrades at this point, so I might not actually spend any more coin on the camp. But we're sailing within visual distance of the coast, and I have been studying in my cabin the books that I have brought with me, unlocking another intrigue perk. So I think we can now probably... we're going down the right branch now. So we want to get towards a smooth operator, and we'll do this for now. Can I, while I'm here, learn anybody's language? Probably. Not really any benefit to me at this point. Maybe. Do we have somebody? Do we have a Franconian? I believe. Yes. Can I learn the Franconian language from Cecile, the wife of Hermenegildo Vasquez, my good man that we have brought along? So let's do that. That will keep ourselves busy through the long journey. After many months, we have entered the Red Sea, and we will be moving north. The plan is to make landfall, pass through the desert at Sinai, and then visit once more the Caliph at the Sultanate of Egypt. We'll see if he remembers me. And I am now going I am now looking somewhat different, so let's see if we can get that done. Grave news have been discovered. Elchanan is plotting to kill Mathieu the Tyrant. Interesting. So the two of them, they got into a fight over some food. Obviously, Mathieu is less than pleased by this, but obviously this is between the two of them. So I will not be doing anything to discourage people. That's between them. There's freedom between us. The choppy waters are enough to make any experienced sailor seasick. As we roll back and forth on the waves, the people on the ship are slowly moving to seek shelter below. I notice Morteza looking out over the railing before turning to make his way towards the hold deck. But before anyone has time to react, the ship hurls sideways and he falls into the dark water. We definitely should be trying to save him. Let's see if we can grab him. Yes, we have pulled him out of the water, and he has helped me quite a bit with the conquest of women. Unfortunately, as soon as we have made landfall, I slowly move forward on a narrow mountain trail. Suddenly, I hear a rumble and a quick silenced scream. And Morteza once again has been unlucky for certain. He will be in our prayers, but there is, I think, not much we can do to save him at this point. So we will not risk anyone else. So unfortunately, he is no longer with us. And unfortunately as well, we have learned that we are still considered fugitives in Egypt. As such, I believe we probably want to bypass the Byzantine Empire as well. And maybe we'll head over towards Apulia and visit the papacy once more. See if we can get into some mischief there. So in that regard, we will probably going to have to head towards a northern port. So let's, once we're through the mountains here and we have visited St. Catherine's Monastery, I'll abort the travel. And with that, we can take a quick break at the Temple of St. Catherine, then move north towards the coast, and we are on our way, I believe, probably towards Apulia, because if the Caliph still remembers me, then so will the Emperor, Basileus of the Byzantine Empire. And with that, I think it's probably better to move towards places that we are not as infamous. As we inspect the gardens at the Temple of St. Catherine, there's a lot of things that we could bring with us that are good to eat. So let's do that. And then I think we'll have a quick look at the locals in the tavern, and then we will move on from there. We have already set sail, and not a moment too soon, because a message arrives from the local sheikh to immediately remove ourselves from the sheikhdom of Damietta. So we're definitely no longer welcome in Egypt, and it's good that we're making our way out of there. After many months of journey, we have arrived in Rome. I am very, very sick of being on a boat, and I think the rest of the crew as well is anxious. Our treasury is very full at this point, and we have achieved very much what we came to achieve. So now is the question, what shall I do with my life? Well, there are still women to conquer, and I am still somewhat ambitious into inserting myself once again into noble circles. But I have seen faraway lands and gone through many adventures that will make a good tale to entice any of the noble ladies for some illicit fun behind closed curtains. But for now, we are in Rome, and we'll see if there are any jobs that suit our particular profession. One more point in intrigue for the graceful recovery, but that leaves just 3 more until I eventually get the seducer perk. That is what we're ultimately after with this. The prestige is still at illustrious, so we're still not quite as well known as I personally, with my ambition, would like. That said, I am also not as young as I used to be, and probably about half my life now have been on the road, making a name for myself in the underworld and making a lot of coin for myself and my group, who I consider basically family at this point. So the question will sooner or later arise what the future will hold for Bernard de Villeron of the Lion de Beauvais.